Yes, good morning to all of you. Please, one of you acknowledge, am I audible to you? Yes, am I audible to you? One of you, please acknowledge. And the screen is visible. Okay, fine, fine. Thank you. Good morning to all of you. And in the last two, three sessions, we discussed the concepts related to two types of finite automata. One is deterministic version, and the other one is non-deterministic version. That is deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic finite automata. We also understood how to convert a non-deterministic finite automata, that is an NFA, to an equivalent DFA, right? That is the conversion procedure for converting NFA to DFA. Any doubts in that concepts? Any doubts related to that DFA and NFA? Okay, fine. Let us proceed further. Another third variation of finite automata, and it is the last one. That is another third type of finite automata called as finite automata that also have what is called as epsilon transitions. That is transitions without seeing any input. Without any input symbol, finite automata moves from one state to another state. That is finite automata with epsilon transitions. That is called as epsilon NFA. That is uh, epsilon. It supports transitions without seeing any input symbols. That is, automaton may be allowed to change its state without reading the input symbol. That is called as epsilon NFA. That is, the epsilon NFA supports change of change from one state to another state without reading or without seeing any input symbol. That is called epsilon movements or epsilon transitions. That is, in transition diagrams, such transitions in transition diagram, such transitions are indicated by labeling the appropriate arcs with the epsilon. You can notice here in the transition diagram, such movements or such transitions are indicated with the help of epsilon. This new capability give us some added programming convenience that we'll see later how it helps us in programming environment of having transitions without any input symbol, that is called epsilon transitions. Let us define this epsilon transition or epsilon NFA. An epsilon NFA is defined as a 5-tuple representation. As we defined for the DFA and NFA, the same definition here also. There is no difference. Only the difference is with reference to delta. Only the difference is with reference to delta. Therefore, A, that is the epsilon NFA. Here A is the epsilon NFA, that is equal to 5-tuple representation that components consist of Q, sigma, delta, Q naught, and F. As you all know, Q is the set of states, and sigma is the alphabet of the input symbols, and Q naught, which belongs to capital letter Q, is the initial state or start state. Q naught is the initial state or start state that belongs to Q, capital letter Q. And F is the subset of the Q, is the set of final states or set of accepting states. F. Then what is this delta? And as you observed in the previous two definitions also, the compared to DFA and NFA, the only thing which changes is delta function. Only thing which changes is delta function. In case of DFA, this delta function is Q to 2 power Q. 2 power Q means power set of Q. That we seen what is called as a power set. Then in case of NFA, this is Q into sigma mapped to 2 power Q. Now we are going to add another component to this, that is q into sigma union with epsilon, because it also supports not only on input symbols, that is sigma, it also supports another symbol which we cannot say it as an input symbol, epsilon. It also gives a transition on epsilon. Therefore I marked here as q into sigma union with epsilon. Sigma union with epsilon. Sigma is input symbols and epsilon is not input symbol, but it can have a transition on epsilon without saying any input symbol. That is mapped to 2 power q. What is 2 power q is? It is a power set of q. Any power set of q it generates. It may be no state, one state, or multiple states. In case of DFA, it is only one state. In case of NFA, it is a zero number of states, one number of states, or multiple, or more than one. In case of DFA, epsilon NFA is also it is 2 power q, but here there is a added thing that is called as epsilon NF. Epsilon is added here, union. Any doubt in this definition? What is epsilon NFA and what are the features, how it is helpful for us in programming, that we'll see later. Let us try to understand the definition and how it differs from other two types of uh, finite automata. Any doubts in this definition? Yes, please. Yeah, somebody is asking the recordings. Already, as you all know, we have uploaded the recording of these sessions in the Google Classroom. All of you notice, join the Google Classroom, and all these videos are made available in the Google Classroom. Already we conducted two sessions. The two sessions recordings are made available in the Google Classroom. I request all of you to join the Google Classroom and try to access these recorded videos. Any other doubts here? And that Google Classroom link is shared in the Gmail, that is Google Group Mail to you all. We have shared the Google Classroom link. That link is shared in the Google Group Mail. Any doubts here, please? And as usual, we also leave a quiz question of 2 questions in the middle of the class that you can complete before the class completion. That will serve both the attendance as well as it can also be used for you to access your understanding of the class. Every session will use that quiz of 2 questions or 3 questions, so and so. Any doubts here, please? Definition. Okay. Here, one important point you need to remember is the delta function. The delta function maps q into sigma union epsilon to 2 power q. Here, in case of DFA, it is only q, only one state. Here, in case of NFA, it is number of states, and in case of epsilon NFA also, it is number of states. Only in case of NFA and epsilon NFA is added this epsilon here. That is the only difference with respect to NFA and epsilon NFA. How it is helpful, let us see. Before that, let me write some examples for decimal numbers. Let me write some examples for decimal numbers, which consists of uh, both integer part and fraction part. Let us notice I wrote here 45.31. 45.31. Can you say, is it a positive number or a negative number? And can I write it as plus 45.31. What is the difference between the first these two? What is the difference between the first two? Can I have only like minus 45 point? Is it valid number? Or can I write 0.75? Is it valid number? Can I write minus 92 point? Is it valid? Let me know, all of you check whether these numbers are valid or not, because for this we are going to write a transition diagram now. To accept these numbers, we are going to write a transition diagram now. You all use these type of numbers in the programming. How the compiler decides these are valid or invalid? How the compiler decides these are valid or invalid? Let me know from your side. Is there any is these numbers are valid or invalid? Which is valid and which is invalid? Okay. Can why anybody would like to tell which are valid and which are invalid in this? Yes, many are pronouncing it as signed decimal numbers. Yes, you are right. These are all signed decimal numbers. Let me know which are valid and which are invalid in these numbers, or all are valid. When you are writing a C program, in the C program you are using the numbers. How the compiler come to know which are valid and which are invalid in these? These are called as, yes, you explicitly, you told clearly here, signed decimal numbers. These are all signed decimal numbers. You can unmute and answer which are valid and which are invalid. If it invalid, why they are invalid? You are free to answer this, because for this we are going to write a transition diagram now. Anybody would like to answer? Unmute and answer, please. Any invalid numbers in this set? All are valid or anything invalid? Sonali is saying minus 45 point is invalid. Anything else? All are valid except minus. Okay, fine. Okay. Yes, sir. Now notice here, these are the decimal numbers. These are the decimal numbers. Clearly notice, in case of decimal numbers, there is a decimal point. There is a decimal point which separates whole number and a fraction number. Whole number and a fraction part. That is integer part and a decimal part. That is a decimal point. In all these, decimal point is there. And when there is a sign here, for positive numbers, inclusion of plus is optional. If sign is not there, they are treated as a positive numbers. If I include here plus 45.31, it is also valid. And first one, that is 45.31 without the sign, that is also valid. You can notice here, appearance of plus is optional here. I am pronouncing here, appearance of plus is optional here. Therefore, we are going to introduce what is called as epsilon in the epsilon transitions. Appearance of the sign is optional. If it appears, it can be for plus as well as for a minus. For minus, minus sign is compulsory. If sign is not there, it is treated as a positive number. And also plus can appear explicitly also. First one is valid, 45.31. It is treated as a positive plus 45.31. Second one is clearly valid, that is plus 45.31. Third one is minus 12.62 is valid. Fourth one is minus 45 point. After point it is 0, but it is clearly says minus 45 point. Point after point it is 0. It is also valid. it is also valid. Minus 45.0, it is treated as minus 45.0. And I would like to recall your understanding with the C language. Uh, I'll ask one important question with reference to C. Float x equal to I'll declare it as 56. Is it valid in C language? Anyone would like to answer? Unmute and answer, please. I appreciate if you unmute and answer whether it is valid or invalid. Float x equal to 56. Is it valid in C? I declared a floating point data type variable, that is x, but I given a 56 value for x. Is it valid statement in C language? Let me know. Please answer. Some who is saying invalid, valid. Yes, is it valid? Yes, it is clearly, it is a valid statement. In C, it is valid statement. It is valid in C. It is valid in C. What it does is, it makes the value of x as 56.0. It makes the value of x as 56.0, right? And I can also have one more variable, float y equal to minus 76. Is it valid statement in C? Is it valid statement in C? I given float y equal to minus 76. Is it valid? Please answer, any one of you, please answer for this. Float y equal to minus 76. It is a valid statement. It makes it as value of y as minus 76.0. It makes the value of y as minus 76.0. That is, what is the value here? Y equal to, it will make it as minus what is it, 76.0. This is y value. All right. Therefore, with reference to that, this minus 45 point is a valid number. Next is 0.75. 0.75 is also valid. It will consider it as plus 0.75. Plus 0.75. Next is minus 92 point. Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. It considers it as minus 92.0. Minus 92.0. Then last one is plus 0.63. This is also valid. This is also valid. All these numbers what I typed here are all are valid in your C compiler. As per the C language syntax, these are all valid. Any doubts from your side related to these numbers? Related to these numbers, any doubts here? Okay, fine. Fine. That's fine. Okay. Now let us come back. How can I write a transition diagram to accept these numbers? Now that is important. Why I wrote these numbers is I am coming to the point. I am going to write an epsilon NFA that accepts. Read the problem statement here. An epsilon NFA that accepts the decimal numbers consisting of. Read the problem statement clearly. An epsilon NFA that consists of Abhishek Patil, can you read this problem statement? Abhishek Patil, can you read out this problem statement, what I displayed, if you were able to see this? Abhishek Patil. Abhishek Patil. Are you, are you able to hear me, Abhishek?
Yes, sir.
Please read this problem statement, man. Where are you?
Sir, network problem, sir. It is
Hmm.
saying blur blur.
Okay. Are you able to see this now?
It's blur, sir.
Is it blur?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, no problem. You try to adjust the network. Rameshri, can you read it
Yes.
out? Rameshri, 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 or
Yes,
can you
sir.
read? Please read
Yes,
it.
sir.
Please read.
An ENFA that accepts decimal numbers consisting of an optional plus or minus sign, a string of digits, a decimal point, and sir, it's not visible. Another string of digits, either the string of digits or the string 2 can be empty, but at least one of the string one of the two strings of digits must be non-empty.
Ah, okay, fine. All of you, and that's fine, Rameshri. That's fine. Thank you. Based on this problem statement, now you try to compare these numbers. All these numbers are according to this problem statement. That is an optional plus or minus sign, then a string of digits, then a decimal point, then another string of digits. That is, there are two sets of string of digits. You can notice in this third example, both string of digits are there. But out of these two strings of digits, one is on the left hand side of the decimal point and the other one is on the right hand side of the decimal point. Out of the two string of digits, at least one should be present. At least one should be present. Both can be present, but at least one of these two strings of digits should be present. That is, on the left hand side of the decimal point and on the right hand side of the decimal point, there are two sequence of digits. One, at least one of the sequence of digits should be present. If both are present, that is also fine. Any doubt in this problem statement? Is it clear to all of you? Okay. Now, how can I write an epsilon NFA for this? Now look at here. We are writing an epsilon NFA for that. We are writing an epsilon NFA for that. What it does is, from the start state, if you look at these numbers, if you scan these numbers, what it looks is first is sign. Sign plus may be there, minus may be there, or sign may not be there. Therefore, there are three options at the beginning. It will look for plus, minus, or nothing also. Therefore, what I have here is, from the start state, it will have a transition on epsilon, that is no sign at all, or it can have a plus sign, or it can have a minus sign. With that, it will go to Q1. With that, it will go to Q1. Right, any doubt here? Therefore, the introduction of epsilon transition. Therefore, the introduction of epsilon transition. I hope you clearly appreciate what is called as epsilon movement now. What is called as epsilon movement now, or transition on epsilon. That is because in this number, first number, there is no sign at all. Therefore, the DFA should go and consider the next digit itself without the sign. It has to scan without the sign. Therefore, I have a transition on epsilon here, either epsilon plus or minus. After seeing that, it can have a sequence of digits here. You can notice this is a sequence of digits in Q1. Then I can have a dot. After that dot, I can have a sequence of digits like this, right? Then after that, it can go to what is called as uh, next sequence of digits, next sequence of digits, and finally epsilon, and finally epsilon. Verify whether these numbers are accepted by the what is called as uh, this uh, epsilon NFA. These numbers are accepted by what is called as epsilon NFA. Trace all these numbers. Trace all these numbers. All these numbers are accepted by this epsilon NFA. Therefore, we have here epsilon. Therefore, we have here epsilon. And we have a dot here. This is a dot. And this is 0 to 9 digits. And this is 0 to 9 digits. And here this is also 0 to 9 digits. And this is also 0 to 9 digits. And this is epsilon transition. Transition on epsilon. Transition on epsilon. Therefore, we have usage of epsilon transitions. We have usage of epsilon transitions where it is optional to have something here. That is, what is optional here? Plus sign is optional. And when you consider the number, this whole number may be optional or this fraction number may be optional, but at least one of these two should be present. But at least one of these two should be present. All these numbers are accepted by this NFA, and this is specifically called as epsilon NFA. This is specifically called as epsilon NFA because it has transitions from one state to another state on no input symbol. No input symbol means we'll pronounce it as a epsilon. No input symbol or epsilon. Any doubts here, please, with related to this diagram and with related to these examples? And this is closely associated to the syntax of the C language. This is closely associated to the syntax of the C language because whenever you declare variables like this, you used to give the data like this. That is accepted as per this transition diagram. As per this transition diagram. Any doubts here, please? Anybody else, please? Are you able to understand this transition diagram? How it recognizes floating point numbers. What you call it as a floating point numbers or decimal numbers. Floating point numbers are decimal numbers. These are called as floating point numbers or decimal numbers where there is a whole number and there is a fraction number. Whole number and fraction number are separated by a decimal point, but decimal point is compulsory. Left hand side of the decimal point is optional, right hand side of the decimal point is also optional, but out of those two at least one should be present. Somebody is saying so why that Q4 state is required. Q4, yeah, notice here this Q4 path, I'll come back. I'll ask you in another way. For this, you try to write a sequence. Minus 45 point. Can you tell me what is the sequence it follows? Minus 45 point. What is the sequence it follows is Q0, Q1. What is it? Q0, then Q1. Sorry, what is that? Oh, for which one I was asking? Minus 45. What is that? Q0, from Q0 Q0, then Q1 minus 45 point. Can you tell me what is the sequence, please, one of you? Q0, Q1 minus 45 point. Minus 45 point. Q0, Q1, then Q4, then Q4. From Q4, where it goes? Please tell me, one of you. Q4 to, what is this? Q3. From Q3 to Q5. This is a path which followed for checking minus 45 point. Is it clear? The one who asked the question? Fine, that's fine. Right? That is, for different numbers here, the path is different. Wherever fraction part is present, or a decimal point is present, or whole part is present. Which one he told? What is this number? Mine. Is it 0.05 or what? Minus 0.05. Surely it will accept minus 0.05. Why not? What is the doubt in that? Minus 0.05 it will accept. Can you check? Minus is Q0 to Q1. Then point Q1 to Q2. That is over. Then here Q2 to Q3. Q2 to Q3. Then Q3 to Q5. Is it clear? The one who asked acceptance of minus 0.05, it will be accepted. No doubt in that. Yes, sir. Any other doubts? Is this diagram is clear? Yes, sir. There is a point here. There is a transition from Q1 to Q2 that corresponds to decimal point. That corresponds to decimal point. There is a transition from Q1 to Q2 which recognizes decimal point itself. Right? Because in the number mentioned minus minus point, therefore minus is from Q0 to Q1, and that point will be recognized from transition from Q1 to Q2. That decimal point is recognized. Then Q2 to Q3, that other two digits, that is 0.5, will be recognized, and finally Q3 to Q5 will go on epsilon, and the number is recognized, that is minus 0.05. It will be recognized, and the decimal point will be recognized with the help of these two arcs. One arc is from Q1 to Q2, and another arc is from Q4 to Q3. Another arc is from Q4 to Q3. Any other doubts, please? Is it clear, this diagram? And try to trace these numbers, all these numbers, with the help of this transition diagram. All these numbers, different types of numbers you use in the C language. The same thing I taken, and we tried to write a epsilon NFA for that. This is a epsilon NFA. This is a epsilon NFA. Okay, we'll move on. Now we are going to write a transition table for the epsilon NFA, what we discussed just now. For this epsilon NFA, we'll write a transition diagram. In the transition diagram, we'll have column corresponding to epsilon also. There is a column corresponding to epsilon also. Then plus, minus, dot is there. Then digits 0 to 9. Q0 on epsilon. Where it goes? Look at the transition diagram. Q0 on epsilon, it goes to Q1. Q0 and epsilon, it goes to Q1. Right. Then Q0 on plus or minus. Q0 on plus or minus, it will go to Q1. It will go to Q1. Then Q0 on dot. Q0 on dot, it is not defined, therefore empty set. This is empty set. Then Q0 on digits 0 to 9. That is also not defined, therefore this is also empty set. Is this first row is clear for all of you? Any doubt in this first row transition table? Fine. Come to the second row. With reference to Q1, Q1 on epsilon, no transitions. Q1 on plus or minus, no transitions, that is pi. Q1 on dot, it goes to Q2, and Q1 on digits, it goes to either Q1 itself or Q4. Either Q1 itself or Q4. And always this is a set of states. We are writing it in a set notation. This transition table is written in the set notation. Similarly, we can write this transition table for this. And as usual, we have a nomenclature for the start symbol. That start state, that is Q0, is indicated with the help of this arrow, and final state is indicated with the help of this star. Final state is indicated with the help of this star. Any doubt in this transition table? Any doubt in this transition table? Okay, fine. And same way we can represent it in the tuple representation, 5-component tuple representation. This is a 5-component tuple representation. This is Q0 to Q5, and the epsilon sigma consists of here dot, plus, minus, and digits 0 to 9 and digits 0 to 9. And most important thing here is that epsilon is not part of this input symbol. Epsilon is not part of this input symbol, and delta, Q0 and Q5. Q0 is start symbol, start state, and Q5 is the final state or accepting state. Fine, we'll move on. We define one important concepts here with reference to epsilon closure. With reference to epsilon closure, we define one important concepts, what is called as epsilon closure. We define what is called as epsilon closure. What is epsilon closure is, it consists of all the states that can be reached from a particular state only by seeing the epsilon symbol. Only by seeing the epsilon symbol. For example, consider this diagram. Consider this diagram, transition diagram. We'll try to compute epsilon closure of state A. What is the interpretation of this is, the states which can be reached from A only on epsilon. Only on epsilon. Before writing this, let us verify this diagram. I can go from A to A on epsilon. Look at the reading. I can go from A to A on epsilon without any input symbol. I can go from A to A. It means that will stay in the same state. And from the diagram, it is clear that we can have a transition from A to B on epsilon. That is A to B on epsilon. From B, I can have a transition from B to D on epsilon. Therefore, what is epsilon closure of A is, we can go to A, we can go to B, and we can go to D. Therefore, epsilon closure of A is A, B, and D. That is the set of states which can be reached on C without seeing anything. That is only on epsilon. Only on epsilon. Is it clear here? What is epsilon closure? It is a set of states which can be reached on only epsilon input. On only epsilon input. Look at the definition. All the states that can be reached from a particular state only by seeing the epsilon symbol. Only by seeing the epsilon symbol. In the similar way, all of you try to write epsilon closure of B, epsilon closure of C, and epsilon closure of D. Epsilon closure of B is, we can go from B to B on epsilon. We can go from B to D on epsilon. Therefore, epsilon closure of B is B and D. Then epsilon closure of C is, it is only C. Other than that, I cannot go to any other state on epsilon. And similarly, epsilon closure of D is, it is epsilon closure of D, it is also D. Any doubts here, please, related to this epsilon closure of a state? What is the meaning? What is the definition of the epsilon closure? Epsilon closure of a state is the set of states which can be reached from a particular state only by seeing the epsilon symbol. Only by seeing the epsilon symbol. Any doubts here? Yes, please, any doubts? How to find epsilon closure of a state? Epsilon closure of a state is, yes, same state reach means we will be in the same state on epsilon. The interpretation is A to A means we are in the same state. Without reading anything, we will stay in the state A. For example, if I am at state A, on reading nothing, we will stay in the same state A. That is the interpretation. Closure of A is, it includes A because on epsilon we will stay in A itself. That is, on reading epsilon we go from A to A. It is nothing but without reading, on reading nothing we stay in A. That is the interpretation. The one who asked this question. The interpretation is on reading nothing, we stay in the same state. We stay in the same state. That is the interpretation. Is it clear? Any doubt here, please? Okay, fine. This is one important concept called as epsilon closure. How we are writing is epsilon closure or else epsilon star or else epsilon star. Next, we have one important question here, what is called as convert the following epsilon NFA to NFA. Convert the following epsilon NFA to NFA. An important question here also. Convert the following epsilon NFA to NFA. This is an epsilon NFA given. We have to convert it to NFA. How to convert is simple, but procedure is lengthy, but it is simple. Procedure is lengthy, but it is simple. Let us try, all of you try to understand. Here is, for converting that, first we have to find the epsilon closure of different states. Epsilon closure of A I wrote, epsilon closure of B I wrote, then epsilon closure of C I wrote, similarly epsilon closure of D. As we did in the previous discussion, the same thing I copied here. These things I copied. One second please. Just a moment. Just a moment. One second please. I'm posting the quiz link now. Yeah, you can attend the quiz link. Quiz. Any doubts here, please? Related to this? We'll continue this problem in the next class. We'll continue this problem in the next class. But any doubt now? Yes, surely we will share the PDF. Aishwarya will share the PDF. Don't worry. We have shared the PDF videos. PDF will share it. Who is this? Aishwarya Kittur will share it. Any doubts, please? All of you attend the quiz. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, let me know. But many of you have not yet joined the Google Classroom. All of you join the Google Classroom. That link is shared. Class representative, let me know, is that link is available to everyone? Who is that saying Varsha videos are private? I don't know. Is anybody who access the videos, please answer. What is that second question? What is second question? That second question in this quiz is from the problem, but we are not able to complete it. That you can leave it. If you know, you answer it. Otherwise, you leave it. That second question. Because I was about to complete this problem, but I am not able to complete. That second question in this quiz is related to this problem, but since we're not able to complete, you can leave it, or if you know, you can answer it. Any other doubts, please? Yes. One of you please reply whether are you able to access videos in the Google Classroom? Reply in the chat room or unmute and answer whether are you able to access the videos. Varsha is saying not able to access. Anusha Joshi is are you able to access? Yes, she says yes. I don't know if Varsha, if you joined the Google Classroom after I shared the video, you may not be able to access. I don't know. If that is the case, if after I shared the video, if you join the Google Classroom, you may not be able to access. That may be the reason, or else you try to check the connectivity. Any other doubts, please? Are you able to attend the quiz? Fine.